Hello, everybody. This is Shakira with the Love and Money Podcast. So I just wanted to come in really quickly. I'm going to talk to you about investing uh, real quickly. So basically, I just wanted to tell you that if you have children, to invest for your children. Say if you have a 1 year old, all it would take would be to put $20,000 into an account, hold it there till they get 40, and then they'll be a millionaire. And that's the power of investing. So I know you're like, ah, 20,000 is all I have to do. But you're really doing your children a favor by doing that. So think about it. Consider using Dave Ramsey's calculator. His calculator is nice. I like it. There are other calculators out there. But you can kind of get on his calculator and play around with the numbers. And like I said, 20K lump sum for your child, your 1 year old child, will turn them into a millionaire by the age of 40. So could you imagine if your family did something like that for you? Now, you may count it a blessing to be able to have the challenge of becoming a millionaire on your own without anyone's help. Like some people may see that as a blessing because they like challenges. But if you do have children, you can make it a much easier for your children by investing for them. That's what some other people are doing. Check out the book. What's the name of the book? Check out the book. What the Rich Teach Their Children That the Poor and the Middle Class Don't, by Robert Kiyosaki. I haven't read the book yet, but that is on my list of many books to read. And the title sounds interesting because they say that there are no secrets, but there are secrets. If you don't know, that means it's a secret. I actually had somebody tell me that before. I was talking to a Jewish man actually, and I asked him, what is the secret to obtaining wealth? And he said, there is no secret, save your money. Well, in my opinion, there's secrets out there. And actually, God revealed a couple of them to me. Actually, no human being revealed them to me. God revealed them to me. And there are secrets out there. So I guess some people see the benefit in finding out on their own. Some people see the benefit of of challenge, of obtaining it. And you're not in competition with anybody because for some people, they do not desire to become millionaires, to tell you the truth. So you're not in competition with anyone. There are a lot of people that are still blind out here. There are different blinders going on. People are walking around unconscious. And I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to talk about religion, but there are some aspects of religion that say that you can't serve two masters, meaning you cannot serve God and money. Um, there are different scriptures out there. The love of money is the root of all evil. People get that wrong. They they quote it as money is the root of all evil, but the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. There's also a scripture about you cannot enter the kingdom. Um, like it's easier for a camel to enter uh, through the thread of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom. So there are certain scriptures like that. If you grew up in the church, and then there's a lot of things actually. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that people have. If you're a person of color like me, you may have grown up believing that only white people can live the life that they desire to live. Depending on where you come from, what your color is, what your background is, how you grew up, what family you came from, there are a lot of blinders out there, a whole lot. And I just touched on two of them, but there are a whole lot of blinders out there. Besides that, there are people who they don't want to work, they're lazy. But the reason behind that is they don't understand compound interest. If you understood compound interest, you would have been working. So the lack of understanding of compound interest. Besides that, the fact that racism still exists. So racism is alive and well. And if you are not a person of color and you don't really understand racism or you're not affected by it, I'm just going to give you some examples of how racism affects uh, money as it pertains to wealth. So, some examples of that would be in the hiring process. They will not hire you. Say, for example, you work hard, you're very ambitious, and you say, I'm going to be a physician, I'm going to go to medical school. So you study, you work hard, you study day and night, you study, you study, you study. You pass your tests, you pass your boards, you become a certified physician. Okay, now you're looking for a job. You think they're going to hire you? You're African American. You think they're going to hire you? You're up against Asians, you're up against Caucasians. So the fact that there are people still out there that will not hire you is a reality. So that is one example of racism. Another example, and the reason why I mention that is because that affects your money. If you have difficulty finding a job, if it's harder for you to find a job than other races, that's going to affect your money. So, another example of racism and how it affects money is when you get into a position, they will not promote you. You've been there longer, you know your stuff, but the people that come in underneath you, you watch them be promoted over you. And now they're your supervisor. See how that works? That is still going on in the year 2021. And how racism, how it affects people of color is that that is dealing with your money. When you are not promoted, that means you're making less money. You're in the same spot that you've been in for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So if you happen to be in that situation, if you are at a place where you have not been promoted and you've been there 5 years, leave. Please don't stay. Okay. This is just a little nugget to give to you. So that's another example of racism and how that affects your money. Another example of racism is redlining. Redlining is where they will not give out loans for housing if you live in a certain area. Like certain areas, like they draw a red line. If you live over in this area, yes, you can have a loan to buy a house or to buy rental property. But if you live in this area, no, you cannot have a loan to buy houses or rental property. And so how that affects racism, that affects your money because if you're not owning a home, if you are not buying up rental property, then you do not have wealth because you accumulate wealth through owning a home, buying uh, rental properties. See, so that's another example of racism and how that affects your wealth. So it's not necessarily all about being lazy and not wanting to work. It's other issues like racism, which are reality. Okay, so the topic today is supposed to be about investing. And so I just wanted to come in and let you know that if you have children, invest for your children, make it easier for them. Go ahead and get onto an investment calculator of your choice. I mentioned Dave Ramsey's calculator because I like his calculator, but there are other calculators out there. And you can see by putting in a $20,000 investment for your baby, when they grow up, they'll be a millionaire and they didn't even do anything for it. Um, of course, you're going to have to teach your children about money and the importance of money. That's another limiting belief, also, is that money is not important. And money has to be important for you to have it. Okay. Like we know other things are more important than money, like God is more important than money. Your family is more important than money. Your relationships are more important than money. But for a lot of people, they do have a belief that money is not important. And that's because other things are more important than money. But in order to have money, it has to be important to you. And the fact that it's not important to a lot of people uh, is another reason why you are not in competition with anyone. So, this is the Love of Money podcast with Shakira. I just wanted to come in, talk to you about investing, the power of investing, and to make it easier on your children. Put something in there for your children and get them rolling with the investment process. So, this is the Love of Money podcast. If you like this podcast, please share it with one other person. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and please leave a comment. Thank you for listening.